Hello, everyone. My name is Ria. I have lost just over 72 pounds, and I want to share my journey with you and show you how I went from looking like this to now looking like this. What made me finally decide to change my life and lock in and commit to a weight loss journey once and for all was I got to a point where I was just completely fed up with everything. So I had kind of gone through a lot of life struggles. I went through a bad breakup. I was struggling a little bit with my family, and I sort of fell out and got really frustrated and annoyed, and kind of had like the realization that the friends around me were not helping or supporting me in any way. They were kind of like hindering me and not contributing to my progress at all. So it was like a combination of all of those things together that it all just got to a point where it was too much. And um, I just realized that I was under so much pressure from all of these different angles, emotionally. And I realized that I just needed to make a change. The one thing that was good in my life when I did decide to make this change is that I did um, start to connect with a new group of friends who treated me very well and much better, and I also had a very good job. So in the past, I also have a history of struggling at work and having toxic bosses and having to deal with toxic workplaces and stuff like that. So I went through a career change, and I got myself into a job that I really enjoy and an industry that I really enjoy that is a lot more kind of relaxed and easygoing. And my work colleagues are also really great. I went through a transition period, I guess you could call it, of getting rid of some old friends from my 20s and meeting a new, more mature group of friends in my 30s. So my friendships were stable. I got out of a really toxic relationship, and I believe I've broken a toxic cycle that I was stuck in, and my life was starting to stabilize a little bit more in those areas. So the last thing that I wanted to take care of was my physical health and my environment as well, and like um change and improve my surroundings, my living situation and stuff like that, and my physical environment, so my body and my health. So I just made the decision to change my life, and that I was really gonna start to lock in and get my health and fitness under control and work towards the body and the physique that I have always wanted. Mm-mm. So, when I was at my heaviest, life was very difficult for me. So, um, I'm not talking about not just the physical side. So, very quickly, physically, I was actually quite active, believe it or not, even though I was much heavier than I am now. But I believe that stress had a huge part to play on my physique and my lifestyle, and I feel like I was very inflamed because I was hanging around the wrong people, people who did not have my best interests at heart, sorry, people who were just causing me a lot of issues relationship wise and friendship wise. So I was stressed a lot of the time trying to deal with that, and I was in kind of like people pleaser mode and being young and naive and in my 20s, also in my relationships as well, had no boundaries, um, all of that good stuff. So um, it was difficult dealing with that. And I didn't realize until I have kind of lost the weight now, the connection that having toxic people and having people around you that just don't respect you in general, that's kind of like a symptom of being overweight. I don't know if that makes sense, but people tend to, especially in my experience and from what I have seen from other people online and sharing their experience, when they were at a bigger weight, they were in a worse place mentally and emotionally in terms of their relationships, and they were attracting narcissists and so on and so on. And when they went on a weight loss journey and they lost the weight, they have more discipline, and that discipline kind of extended outside of the kitchen and the gym, and it went into other areas of their lives, and their relationships and their situations improved in that way. So that is something that I have definitely noticed. People are very respectful, very kind. I've naturally attracted better opportunities, better friendships, and better relationships around myself, I guess you could say, since going on this journey. And when I compare it with what I was like when I was 70 pounds plus heavier, it's like night and day. It's like looking at a different person, and I look back and I think back and I remember all of the situations and the hardships that I have been through, and it literally is like watching it happen to someone else. Like it's really difficult for me to even believe that I was even in a situation like that. Oh, excuse me, hay fever. So that was the biggest change that I had. Ah, excuse me, that I have noticed, and that was what life was like at my heaviest. So people are very judgmental. People like to take advantage of other people. Oh gosh, excuse me. Yeah, people do not treat people in bigger bodies very well, and that was definitely my experience at the time. And now it is the complete opposite. Honestly, it's like night and day, and it's my brain hasn't quite caught up with my current physique, and I still expect people to treat me. It's sad to say, but I feel surprised when people are treating me with respect and kindness and common decency, because that is sadly something that doesn't happen to people when they are in a bigger body. And if you are on your own journey of transformation yourself, I'm sure that is something that you can identify with yourself. Okay, so the first steps that I took that actually worked for me in my weight loss journey actually had nothing to do with weight loss. So it was more of an emotional decision that I had to make at first for myself, that led to my weight loss. Because for me, believe it or not, I was actually a very active person when I was at my biggest. So, 2, 3, 4 years ago, I went to the gym 4 to 6 times a week. But it was that classic case of me trying to outrun a bad diet. So or a bad lifestyle, I should say. So I was going to the gym, I was going hard, I was doing all of the workouts and stuff like that, but I wasn't paying attention to what I was eating. And more, I would say more importantly than that, I was in a very stressful environment. So the people around me were stressing me in terms of friendships, my jobs that I had in the industry that I used to work in used to stress me out. And I was also in a unhealthy relationship that also really stressed me out. So I believe a lot of my weight gain was due to stress, and I was eating and drinking and partying as a coping mechanism for all of that stress, instead of doing the healthy thing and dealing with things in a healthy way. I actually got a therapist a couple of years ago, and she was great. I completed therapy. Um, so looking back, that was like one of the building blocks that kind of helped me begin on this fitness journey. um I got a new job, I got into a new industry that I enjoy so much more, that is so much better for me, better paid, less stressful, and stable, and I enjoy working with the people that I work with. So that was step two in stabilizing my life and uh, getting myself on track. I got out of a toxic relationship. I was actually dumped by my ex. So at the time, that was not good, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I ended up dodging a bullet there for sure. But I was devastated at the time. But looking back, that was a positive that kind of set me in the right direction. And I think after all of that, I was just emotionally exhausted, and I realized that the friendships that I had had from when I was younger, in my early 20s, that I was trying to carry with me into my 30s, they weren't serving me anymore. They were adding to my stress instead of taking away from it. So I realized that I had to cut off those friendships and then focus on the people around me and the friends and family around me that were supporting me. So I made the very difficult decision to cut them all off. um, and then after a while, after my life was stable, after my job was stable, after I had enough money coming in, I just made the decision to go all in on myself and just lock in um, when it comes to the gym, lock in when it comes to eating, and just do whatever it takes to help me get to the best version of myself. And that's what I did, and that's what worked for me. So it wasn't like it wasn't just my diet, it wasn't just my exercise routine, it wasn't just me taking a GLP-1 and peptides. It was very much an emotional thing for me in the beginning. And another thing that I just want to mention is that I'm also glad that I was, even though I wasn't losing any weight and I was doing the classic trying to outrun a bad diet, I'm grateful that I did work out and go to the gym consistently when I was bigger, because now those habits have carried on over with me, and they have served me well, and I don't try to do anything unhealthy at this stage. And I was already in like a good routine and a good mindset now going into my proper fitness and weight loss journey, and my journey to health, and all of everything sort of kind of fell together like a puzzle piece, and that's what really worked for me. And that goes into the next thing that I want to talk about. So it's just my notes on my iPad here. So the habits that made the biggest difference. outside of my GLP peptide medication, I guess you can call it, that I'm going to speak about in a second. Yeah, the habits of cutting off people that do not have my best interests at heart, and keeping my stress as low as possible, and keeping consistent, and keeping promises to myself when I'm saying that I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm not going to do any take any shortcuts, or treat this journey as some sort of fad diet because I'm desperate to lose weight for the approval of a partner, or to be part of a friendship group or anything like that. I made sure that this was my decision, and that I did it for myself, and that was the end of it. And the GLP ones and the peptides that I now took just helped me on that journey. So the way that GLP-1s and peptides fitted into my overall journey is that I felt like a lot of the hormonal issues behind behind the lack of weight loss, and the stress that I was under, and all of those different things. The GLP ones, they just made it so much easier for me. So I've always struggled with food, hormonal imbalances, PCOS, and all of that stuff like that. And I started taking a GLP-1 just over a year and a half ago, maybe closer to 2 years now. I started off taking Ozempic. I was just watching lots and lots of people online talk about Ozempic and Monjaro, and it just seemed like it's something that could help me. A lot of people that are in similar positions to me, that were going to the gym consistently but were seeing very, very slow results due to PCOS or other hormonal issues that they were having. They were sharing their experiences online, and they were very positive. So I just took a chance, and as I spoke about in my last video, I started off taking Ozempic, and it did work really well for me. And then I moved on to Monjaro, and that also did work very well for me. However, the side effects were quite rough. And in, I believe, late 2025, there was a massive price hike in GLP-1s that are distributed from a pharmacy. So I then sort of looked into alternative ways of getting GLP-1s, so looking into the grey market, and then that's when I discovered retatrutide, which is technically a GLP-3, and I kind of fell into the rabbit hole of exploring all other different peptides. So because I had done so well on the GLP-1s, and I had found trusted people that could help me get GLPs outside of traditional pharmacies. I'm not advising anyone do that if they are not familiar with GLPs. You have to really, really do your research, make sure that you're finding like a reputable provider, and all of that stuff. Is a whole kind of process. Let me know if you want to know more about how to go about that process, because it is quite daunting. It is difficult to find if you don't know what you're looking for. But I did my research, and for me, I was able to find reputable sources to get different peptides. So if you don't know what a peptide is, it's an amino acid that occurs naturally in the body that helps it function properly. So different chains of peptides do different things, I believe. A GLP-1 is a strain of peptide that helps with weight loss. There are also different peptides that help with different things. There's basically a peptide that helps with every problem. So I'm going to try and remember the stack that I take at the moment, because it's quite a few, and I will list what they have helped me do, and how they have helped me in my fitness journey and beyond. So I take GLP-3 called retatrutide, and that is a triple agonist. So Ozempic Wegovy is a GLP-1. That's a single agonist, and it or antagonist. I can't remember what the word is, and it only sort of deals with appetite suppression. And then you have tirzepatide, Mounjaro. That's a GLP-2 technically, and that deals with two hormones to that helps to improve your kind of appetite regulation and the metabolism. And I believe retatrutide is a GLP-3, and it is appetite suppressant, helps improve metabolism, and it also helps burn fat for energy. And it also is kind of less impactful on the muscle. So GLP-1s and GLP-2, if you're not careful and if you don't hit your protein goals, there can be a lot of muscle wastage, and they're more kind of geared towards appetite suppression. And the GLP-3 is more geared towards kind of preserving muscle and burning fat for energy, and not so much on the appetite suppressant. So that is one peptide that I use. The next peptide that I use only occasionally is the Wolverine stack. So BPC 157 and TB 500. So they are good for wound healing, gut healing if you've got a sensitive stomach, great for inflammation, and it is great for if you're kind of like going through surgery and you need to recover, especially the TB 500. So if you're kind of going through anything strenuous, so maybe extremely strenuous activity, or if you've had some sort of an injury or a surgery, those peptides help the body and our muscles and everything else recover really quickly, I have found, for me. I also take KPV. KPV has been great for me for inflammation, and it's been a something that has helped me with my histamine reaction. So I'm always sneezing in the UK. There's always it's always got really bad hay fever, and I have bad like dust allergies and stuff like that. I'm a sensitive person, and KPV helps the body calm down and not overreact to dust and pollen. And I've found it has really helped me with my allergies, especially this time of year. And it's an overall kind of anti inflammatory peptide, and that has been great. That's been really helpful. One of my favorite peptides. I also take the blue peptide, the copper peptide, GHKCU. That is great for skin. So I've got a little glow on my skin. I used to have quite dull and unhealthy skin before I took GHKCU. I also used to get kind of like psoriasis and eczema and skin rashes a lot. That has disappeared, and I believe that is the GHKCU and the KPV that has helped me do that. But GHKCU is good for skin, healthy skin, and healthy strong hair. I take post workout, I take a peptide which is quite a advanced peptide. So it's not not something that you take if you don't really know what you're doing, if you haven't done your research and stuff like that. But it's a peptide called IGF-1 LR3, and you have to really do your research on this one because you can become quite ill if you kind of like misuse this peptide, or if you get something wrong. I take that personally post workout, and what it does is it takes protein and carbohydrates out of your system, and it kind of like injects it straight into your muscles to help you get kind of like that muscle gain and that really kind of like strong physique. So when taking IGF-1 LR3, you have to eat a meal that is very high in protein and very high in carbohydrates pretty much straight after you take the injection. Otherwise it affects your insulin, and your blood levels can drop, your sugar levels could drop, and it could be quite dangerous if you don't take it carefully. However, the benefits of it are amazing, and since I started taking IGF-1 LR3, people have literally been asking me what my workout routine is and what gym I go to and stuff like that. So it's very good for building that strong looking physique without it looking too sort of cartoonish and like you're roided up or anything like that. It's like a very natural, strong look that you get after taking it, and that's because it just helps the food transport straight into your muscles. Similar to IGF-1 is a peptide called tesamorelin, and that is a peptide that targets your visceral fat. So I had a lot of stubborn fat around my midsection, around the middle, that just would not go away. And I took a cycle of tesamorelin and ipamorelin, which is they are used together to target visceral fat and belly fat, and to kind of like help strip that stubborn area that was in my midsection. That was my problem area. It still is, but it is much, much better since I've started taking tesamorelin. But it's also something that needs to be cycled because it can it's affecting insulin levels and hormone levels, not as much as IGF-1 LR3, which can also only be taken for a short amount of time. But yeah, it does affect your hormone levels. So it's another one that has to be taken very carefully. You have to do a lot of research because there's not a lot of kind of like medical guidance around peptides. Peptides are a very controversial topic. A lot of people are split against peptides. I would say it's almost like politics. You're either for it or you're against it, type of thing. People get kind of riled up about the regular peptides, the GLP-1s and all of that are distributed by pharmaceutical companies and doctors and stuff like that. So the ones that are less regulated and that are kind of, you have to do your own research, people are even more kind of I don't know what people's problems are with it, but they kind of just have this like visceral reaction. It's something, it's just rooted in like, people don't like the idea that they think that the peptide is doing all of the work and that you're not having any kind of input into the transformation if you're taking peptides. But that is not the case at all. A lot of athletes and individuals that do take peptides know that they're not shortcuts. They don't do all the work for you. They just kind of like help you along the way. But anyway, that's a whole other video in itself. I'm trying to think. Oh, and Semax and Silank are two other peptides that I take. So they help with focus, with anxiety. For me, I've noticed that they both together they're very calming. I'm able to kind of like just lock in, do what I have to do for the day. And they're kind of like nootropics. They help focus and calm the brain. And I feel like I feel like Superwoman after taking it. I feel like I could do anything. All of those like anxious thoughts that might be swirling around in my head, they get quietened, and I'm able to just focus and get on with my routine and do what I have to do with those peptides. So those are the main ones that I take. If there's any other ones that I think of, I'll put them up on the screen. I don't think so. I think I've covered them all. It's quite a big stack, but you know, for me, they have been the only things that have helped me along on my journey. And you know, they've turned a journey that, you know, I would not have been able to lose over 70 pounds by myself. My body wouldn't have allowed me to do that. It needed the GLP medication to help me switch off that food noise and help. I believe that it's helped my underlying issues with PCOS and whatever else. So it's, you know, but I can tell that my body was kind of like lacking um these these I guess you could call it medications, even though it's quite controversial for me to call it medication because I don't get it from a doctor. But these, you know, these substances are missing from my body, and the next person might be able to walk around with very minimal food noise, and they might be able to lose weight naturally and stuff like that. But just the way my body is built, and you know, the way my hormones are, I wasn't able to do that without the help of the GLP ones and the other peptides. So they have helped me massively. But they are not a quick fix, and I'm not advising that everyone go out and do it. It might not be okay for you. You might have other illnesses and stuff that might interact with these peptides in a negative way. So always do your research. None of this is medical advice. I'm just sharing with you what I've been through. The hardest part of losing over 70 pounds is realizing how superficial people are. And you know, people that didn't want to give me the time of day, especially like romantically in the past, they are now kind of all of a sudden they're interested in me, and you know, they want to listen to me, and I've sort of popped up on their radar, so to speak. And I really don't like that, but it's just something that comes along, I guess, with losing weight. People treat me a lot better after I've lost weight, and people have a lot more respect for me after I've lost weight, and that is hard for me to take, because it just, for me, it just highlights how superficial people can be and how judgmental they are, because I'm still the same person. You know, I'm still the big girl that that I was 70 pounds heavier. But you know, it's just my exterior has changed, and you know, everyone treats me completely differently, and it's hard because my brain is like, nothing's changed, sort of thing. You know, I'm still me. My personality is still the same. You know, still live in the same place, have the same job, do the same things, have the, you know, same people around me. It's literally just my body has changed, and you know, that's just the society that we live in. Is very based on appearance, and I kind of didn't realize that a lot of the bad luck and the bad friends that I had around me, and you know, the bad this and the bad that, was kind of like that's just how people treat individuals who are bigger than them. They treat them with almost like contempt. Um, and then, you know, now that the weight has gone mostly, um, that contempt has gone with it. But it just it's shown me who's fake and showed me who is real. And you know, it's been a bitter pill to swallow, because you know, I didn't think, as grateful as I am, I didn't think that my life would look like this um at this age, at 35 years old. So yeah, that's been the hardest part of losing all of the weight, over 70 pounds. However, overall, it's been a good thing. It's been a positive thing. I'm fitter. I am healthier. The people that are around me, they are, you know, real ones. The friends I've got are great. The family I've got are great. My life, annoyingly, is easier. People treat me better. I get free stuff all of the time. You know, it sounds dramatic, but it is crazy. Like, it's like night and day. You know, I'm just moving through the world as I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone, the way that people treat me now compared to how they treated me a short while ago. And you know, I'm in trying to just enjoy it as much as I can. And um my overall health is much better. And you know, as much as people like to shit on peptides and all of this stuff, I've had my full blood work, MOT scans, you know, every type of scan that you could think of, just to make sure that I am okay. And my health markers are so much better than they were before. I've got no underlying issues. I've had no bad reactions or side effects, only with the GLP-1s at the beginning, when I was taking too high of a dose and it was making me feel ill or nauseous. But you know, just those minor side effects that I had to fix by adjusting the dose. Nothing serious like that. Nothing seriously bad has ever happened to me personally. And I keep an eye on my health markers, and I get my bloods done and all that stuff to make sure that I am okay. And you know, according to the doctors and the pharmacists, I am completely healthy. So that is extremely positive. I work out 3 to 4 times a week for about an hour. I do strength training. I use the Ladder app. I've used so many different apps and health plans and all of that stuff, but I found that Ladder is amazing for me. I'm on Team Forged with Coach Corey, and I'm doing a bit of like a bodybuilding plan, progressive overload, lifting heavy. I love going to the gym. It is literally the highlight of my day now, and I feel like I can actually enjoy it now that I'm not in such a big body. And I can wear like cute little outfits and stuff like that. And I just love the gym. I've changed gyms as well. I used to be in some crusty, dusty gym. And now I'm in kind of like a more expensive gym, but it's got like a little bit of a spa and a sauna and massage chairs and stuff like that. So you can like train hard and take the recovery that I have needed, and just really enjoy the process of exercise. I'm also enjoying running. So running was something that I did not enjoy because I just couldn't do it before in a bigger body. But now my heart health has improved so much. My endurance and my cardio has improved, and I love going to the gym. Now that the food noise has switched off, I love eating healthy. Because I had been on so many kind of like diet plans and meal plans in the past, and they have worked for me while I stuck to the plan. But then eventually I would like restrict myself too much and then go off plan and ruin all of my progress. But in doing that, I do have like a good understanding of kind of like macros and carbs and fats and protein and what I should and shouldn't be eating. and paired together with Retrutide, I am able to I don't really count calories. I've got like a rough idea of what I should be eating. Some people have food scales and all of that stuff, but I just eat clean. And I'm on quite a low dose of Retta at the moment. So I'm not super like restricted in my food noise. I do get hungry, I do eat, but the low dose kind of GLP-1 is helping me eat clean and avoid all of the junk food and whatnot. Oh gosh, I need tissue, guys. Oh no, not the blue roll. Ugh. That's better. But yeah, the GLP-1 has helped me stay on track and just eat really healthily. I eat really clean. If I want a sweet treat every now and then, I do have it, but it's just very rare. And I love to eat, and I eat as much as I want. Just fruits, vegetables, rice, and proteins. Chicken and steak, really, and lamb. Sometimes a little bit of pork, not too much because it's a bit fatty. And yeah, that's it. That's my diet. The advice that I would give to someone who was where I used to be would be to get on the GLP-1. So if nothing is working for you, if you're struggling with food noise, but you're extremely motivated, you're really interested in like the health and fitness lifestyle, but your weight is still too high, just try and get onto a GLP-1. There are so many pharmacies out there and whatnot, and it is expensive, but it's an investment in yourself, that is 100% worth it. And don't be scared of the side effects or anything like that. Just do your research, do what you can to help mitigate the side effects, and do everything the safe way and all of that stuff. But yeah, just go for it. Go for the GLP-1s. If you're interested in peptides, do your research. There's like a growing amount of people who are interested in these this stuff now, because it's getting more and more popular because it works. So it's popular for a reason. So just do as much research as you can, and it will be one of the best decisions that you could ever make for yourself. So I hope that it's a decision that you take and that you go for. So that would be my advice to anyone who wants to embark on a health and fitness journey. And also I would say, do it for yourself. So if you're in that toxic relationship, if you're in that toxic job, get out of it. Make sure that you're stable and you've got good people around you, and that they're not gonna put you off track. And do it for yourself, and you can become the best version of yourself, and it won't take any time at all. Time will fly, and the weight will come off, and you wake up one day and you'll be in your dream body, and you'll thank yourself for getting started now. So yeah, that has been my fitness journey so far. I would like to know, what is one thing that you guys are struggling most in your weight loss journey? So let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And yeah, I will be back next week with a brand new video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed speaking to you guys. Thank you so much for those that have subscribed so far. I am super, super grateful. And I will see you at the gym.